with black, a tiny bit black, please, because black is so powerful and can change the value a lot. So I prefer to premix little by little to see I'm okay with the paint or not. I think I'm happy with this grayish color. It's matched with the sky color. And then on center, it's move on with exactly the white tone. And even on top, we need a little bit pinky reddish. So a little bit white again with red color. Try to premix these two together. This is a good model because we can work on the values. So you can premix with this three color and make different tone and value. Okay, now we are ready with grayish color and this pinky tone. Then we can apply on our surface. And I'm going to start with horizon line to mention about that first of all. And I'm going to go to use the flat brush. And the flat brush it depends on the size of the canvas you work. Mine is not much big. I compare it with my finger because of the 9 by 12 inches. If yours is bigger, so it's easier to go with bigger brush. And please mention about the horizon line here. A little bit more space for sky we kept and less space for the street. So I add the line here to have an idea. This is the horizon line. And then start from top, then move down. So from top, I start with the grayish color. I try to go with this brush stroke, not left and right. It shows on top, it's a little bit like vertical stroke, heavy paint. In between, because acrylic draws so fast, so it doesn't need to finish hold this part and then back. Even with this section, you can back to the pure white color, bring it in between and let it blend together. Finish it like this. I prefer not much using water in the painting, prefer to go with pure paint because of the style. The style is look like oil color. It is not watercolor base. It's water base, but it's not look like watercolor. Because of that, I prefer to have heavy paint to cover the surface easily, because heavy paint, it's so easy to cover the background. And I prefer to use not water or even at least a tiny bit water. Then section by section, try to finish it, because when you finish hold the sky with one tone and then back for another value, you see that it's get draw completely. So I immediately bring the white color in between and try to let this white blend into the grayish color. Even on the center is more white color we need to have. With another brush, in between, we need to bring this pinky tone as well. We see some pinky colors that affect on top of the sky, like this. It's so light. Because of that, I mix the red with white color to make this light value. And it's not cover whole the surface. It's just come a little bit. And then leave it like that. And then continue with the pure white color toward the center here, toward the bottom part of the page or canvas, because here is more pure white. So I'm going to add pure white color. After we finish this part and let it draw completely, then on top, we can bring a different tone to make the road and the trees that cover all the road. But for now, it's fine. Just go with this color. And I'm going to add a little bit line as a horizon with dark color to be visible, because the sky is moved toward white tone and the canvas is white because of that. So then move on more toward left, toward right. And please take heavy paint. Heavy paint, I mean like that. We take really heavy paint. It's so much easier to cover the surface and even give us a time not to draw so fast. So with the same brush, flat and the bigger one, bigger size, that would be easier to work with. First of all, I try to draw one line like that to show that this road should be move on like this way. So now I have an idea how to add a tone. Then on both sides, try to add a grayish color. Even if it's dark, something in between should be, because we need to add a little darker than this tone and we need to have lighter tone as well. Because of that, in between this gray color that we add, we need to take pure white color. Especially pure white color is good to go for the stance a little bit more and let it blend together. When it's wet, very nice and gently they can blend together and give us nice result. Some part I try to add a little bit white to give me blending and feeling of lighter tone. Both side is should be darker, like this part, which is right side. And then I move on toward the center. I don't leave it and then go to the right side. I move on the same way because I don't want to let it dry. If I let it dry, it's the line create in between and they don't blend together very well. So continue with pure white color because already my brush is grayish. Again, I would like to have two different grayish color. One lighter, same as this one. I take white with black color to reach something a little bit darker than this value that already I have, just a little bit. And then keep it aside. Then we need another value which is darker. So this is one light gray, another one which is darker a little bit. We need very less white, more black this time. So this is the dark gray color that we already need for some part of tree trunk. So this two value, please premix. And then the technique that I mentioned, how you can let it fade to the background, because even if you use this light gray color, it's not fade to the background. It's again move forward. There is some way that you can use and let it blend to the background, and that is use the water in your paint. So I bring the watery brush, take this gray, bring it here, dilute it into watery brush. It's look like watercolor should be. You see here, so watery, dilute the hair of the brush on that, very light, and then start from here, add some tree trunk, randomly, it doesn't matter, all be on the same way or a little bit straight or less, shorter on the stems, please, add, and then longer on top, in front actually. Make it longer, randomly add some line for that. And then bring it a little bit longer till here. It's watery, very fast get dry, and after we add the darker tone on top, it shows that there's a bunch of trees, but it disappeared to the background, this part. Because of that, I use watery brush. And make it busy a little bit if you like, even here. So then with darker tone, which is this one, without any water, and a thicker tree trunk, you can draw some line here. It's so longer and there is no water inside, should be. On the bottom part, it's thicker, and when we move up, it's narrow. This is the one, and I'm going to use a round and pointy brush, which is a smaller, and it's more easy to do some line with that, or even with the flat and liney. Flat brush that I mean is, let me show you something like that. The hair should be really flat and liney like this, not spread everywhere. This is so narrow on the tip. That's good option too for drawing the long line with paint. So I bring water here aside, and I already have a little bit paint, light gray color on my brush. So this is the water base. It's so easy to start with this one. And I choose here and at the top. This should be on top. And then it's moved like that on both sides. And this is one part, and this is another part. So I'm going to draw one line here, a little bit thicker, should be like the squareness I try to draw, but it's water-based, so it's fades very nice on the background, and I'm not worried about it. Anytime even I can fix the shape. Then move on with nice and gentle C curve, like that. And then on the other side as well, start from here, C curve there. So we add a tone here inside a little bit. We need to make more details here. For example, this part separated, even this part as well. Then make both left and right a little thicker. All this happened with water-based gray, watery gray actually, this part. And then again back to the line. After this line, we need to make it with two curves like that. And these two curves a little bit thicker as well. This side is not visible because it's under umbrella, but we can make it same as the other. We can follow. I just go with that. And then I wait this disappear to the background. Then for some part, I would like to make a little lighter and darker tone, more on Eiffel Tower. So again, back to water, clean it very well. Bring the clean water on the palette. Now I'm going to use pure white color. Even if I use pure white color, because of grayish brush, it's a little bit move on toward the light gray. I would like to bring lighter gray tone on one side of Eiffel. Here. Because of the stance, I'm not using dark tone a lot. I prefer to make it light. So add a little lighter tone on some part. Even as a line here. And then we wait, get draw. I think we need a little darker tone to add as well. For the darker tone again, with the same technique, watery brush, I'm going to add just a little bit black into white color to make darker gray, but should be completely watery because it's on distance, but it's dark gray. And one side, which is the left side, is a little dark. So with the tip, I try to add a little dark gray color somewhere. And if you see it's really dark, again, back to the white and make your paint a little lighter. Because if we add the really darker tone, it moves forward. We don't want to let it move forward. We would like to let it move to the background. Then with the pointy brush, you can work on details. Add some details on top of the Eiffel. It's just feeling an imagination of that. It's not with lots of detail. Just with some shadow and light, we would like to make it just a bit more accurate. Some water here aside. Start with this pinky tone. Make it watery, very well, diluted into the water, hair of the brush. And lay down my brush, not with the tip like that. I take my hand from a side and try to add some texture like this. That shows it, the leaves move on the stems, fade to the background. So I try to add some distance like this technique. And after pure red, we can move on this darker tone, which is reddish brown. I'm trying to add a little bit watery with that, but when I move on front, I try to use that heavily because I would like to make a texture, but a little bit for distance, it's interesting to have a little. For those part, I add just a bit water. But in front, I'm going to add that pure. And even when you use the dark color of red in front and it's used heavily, it's really lovely to use it without any water and make a texture, because when you use heavy and you can make a nice texture on top. And yeah, that would be really lovely. Even you can let the leaves fall down on the ground on the street and then add a little bit on the street too with this tree technique. A little bit with the pinky tone, light and water base, and then the darkness and pure red, heavy. And it starts from here. It's covered from this part. We need the pure red color, and we need the mixture of red with black, and then pure black as well. So this 3 color is the colors that we need for now. And I'm going to start with this mixture of red and black. So draw the C curve of umbrella. Try to be gently and make this curve shape. You can draw a little smaller, and then after you feel happy with it, make it bigger. I draw like that. It's in an angle. And then we see that the shape of umbrella should be like this. So some curve, make it. And on top is darker, so I'm going to add the mixture of black with red, but the bottom part, it's lighter, so it's just the red color. We can start bring it up. The most heavy part of painting is the umbrella and the flowers under it, because it's so in front of us. We can make a lots of texture for that. Head is not visible. It shows it's under the under umbrella, but the body is visible. So just with the flat brush, sorry, with the black color, I try to make on the left side young lady that shows like skirt she has, or this is the hand, and then move it like that. And then on the right side is men. It's a gentleman. So I just go with the shoulder. Then it shows the coat. So try to follow some like squareness. And then back of the coat. Even if you have space, you can add the place of foot as well. I have a little bit, so I add foot as well. But the shoulder is like that, and then the hand is like this, because it shows that, you know, someone handle umbrella.